So when it comes to Kanan, I'm sure we can all agree on one thing. The Kanan we saw in Power Book 3's first season was nowhere near the Kanan we saw in Power. The one we're watching is very naive, full of mistakes, and too eager to work in the Thomas organization. So we saw Rock putting him in the cash house under Scrappy's watch, mainly to keep him off the streets because of the chaos him and D-Wiz caused by killing Buck 20. But this is why we're watching Raising Kanan. We're watching him make mistakes in the game and learning what made him the cold, ruthless, and strategic Kanan in Power. For example, the Franklin Saint we saw in Season 1 of Snowfall isn't the same Franklin Saint we're now watching in Season 5, so it definitely will take some time with Kanan in Power Book 3. But where Kanan has so far shown us his naivety and his mistakes, he's also shown us glimpses of smarts.
Whole neighborhoods, so people going to the airport could avoid driving through the hood. Only time they stop is to fill up their cars. That's why the gas station near the Van Wyck is packed with white folks doing the mad dash. Only time you ever see them in the hood is when they're fueling up.
And this is just one example. You also know Symphony is someone they can learn from, just like how he helped Marvin open up the drive-by, and also how Rock learned about the high-rises. But besides the mistakes and the game, which we're going to come back to in just a moment, the other side is his relationships with his family, and more so Raquel. Because does she really love Kanan? And is she doing this all for him? Or is he just another pawn on her chessboard? Because I really do think we can make a good case of Rock willing to risk Kanan to get what she wants. Because while Kanan was busy shooting Detective Howard, she made sure she had an alibi. And as I described her at the end of last season, she really was a devil in a red dress. And Duke knew it too.
She just has you hit a cop.
And we saw yet another scene in the trailer with Duke telling Kanan, "Your mom should never have asked you to do that. That shit was wrong." So let's talk all things season 2, because this is where we pick up with Kanan's story. Kanan returns to Queens uncertain of his future with the Thomas organization, and because of Detective Howard's lingering secret, he's even more uncertain of his past, and he's going to be searching for the truth. So Kanan's been gone for a while, and it does seem like there will be a small time jump, and even though it's been mooted there's going to be a 3-year time jump, I think this is way off the mark. I think a few months is more likely, especially with Detective Howard just recovering from the gunshot wound. Why would he wait 3 years to approach Kanan? It makes no sense. So I think a few months is much more likely. But when it comes to Kanan being away from his mom's, the question is, what did he learn while he was away? Because let's not forget, Kanan has been nurtured and kept close by Rock for his entire life. So this is the first time Kanan is probably away from his mom, and he's all alone with his own thoughts and having ample amounts of time to reflect on the events of season 1. And this really would have put some things into perspective, especially because he took the death of D-Wiz really hard and with all the other mistakes. And we need to remember, Kanan is just a kid. So what does he want? Does he want to be in the game, or does he want to do what kids do? For example, play games and have fun. And I think we're going to see Kanan in a bit of a dilemma at the beginning of season 2, just like we saw in this teaser.
I thought I was cut out for what you and Uncle Marvin and Uncle Lou do. I mean, I'm your son. I'm Def Con's son. Y'all both did it, so I thought I would too.
And also how Rock said in the trailer, he's getting to an age where he needs to know what he wants in life, which really tells us Kanan is going to have a few layers this season, and how his character is going to have this element of complexity and confusion. So we hear Kanan telling Rock he couldn't protect her the way he thought he could, and he's not up for any of this, which is a complete contrast to what Kanan was saying at the beginning of season 1. So compared to the trailer, we're now seeing him have second thoughts, because he's got a taste of the grown man's world, which so far has been full of mistake, death of loved ones, and dozens of accidental deaths in the streets, including Nicole's. And the biggest of them all, what he thought he was doing was protecting his family, was just something Raquel manipulated him to do for her own selfish reasons, shooting his father, Detective Howard. So even though blood may be thicker than water, and even though we're gonna see them hash out their differences at the dinner table, which is probably from episode 1, Kanan really won't be able to forget how Rock had D-Wiz killed and also shooting Detective Howard. So you can't fix what's broken, and this is where we are, not just with Kanan and Rock's relationship, but for everyone. How can you come back from all the lies, manipulation and deaths? But I do think they will try at first. Whether they succeed, we're just gonna have to wait and see, but I think we all know they won't. especially because this is what Mackay Curtis said on season 2. I think the basis of Kanan and Rock's relationship has been destroyed at this point. There has undoubtedly been a breach of trust and a boundary on both sides, because it really does boil over with the edginess and intensity. It really is interesting to see how they handle this constant back and forth of blood being thicker than water, but I still can't forget this. And what he means by him not being able to forget is all the lies and deceit from D-Wiz, Marvin, and Detective Howard. He also teased how there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be revealed. So with that being said, and with the synopsis teasing how Kanan's going to be searching for the truth, it really is hard not to think, is this why he's here to visit Vernon Stark? Is he here for answers? Or is he making his own moves in the game behind Rock's back? Either way, this is one to watch. But with the Detective Howard secret possibly being revealed at some stage, especially because we see Howard scoping Kanan and coming face to face, I really wouldn't be surprised if Howard doesn't remember anything at all or pretends as if he doesn't know. But regardless, when Kanan does learn the truth, this is going to destroy the entire Thomas family, and it really is a very similar situation to what we saw in Power Book 2 Ghost. In Ghost, we had Monet who hid a secret for over 20 years, which really set the foundation to the Tejadas being destroyed, as well as Zeke's death. And the same goes with Raquel in Raising Kanan. She lied to Kanan his entire life about who his father was, and just imagine what this would do to Kanan when he finds out the truth. I can really see Kanan turning on Rock, and not just Kanan, but Marvin, Duke, and definitely Lulu. So where Rock constantly keeps telling Kanan everything she's doing is for him and how he's the heir to her throne, what business is going to be left by the time Raquel builds up a long list of enemies and digs even deeper with her manipulation and lies? It's just a waiting game as to what Kanan does when he finds out the truth, because I think Kanan is the only one who can stop Raquel. Raquel is someone who's very dominant and at times very scary, but where she talks about Kanan being her strength and the reason why she does some of the things she does, if we flip this and look at the other perspective, Kanan is also Rock's biggest weakness, and this is why I think Kanan can put the wheels in motion for his own mother's downfall. After all, the reason why she told Kanan to try and kill Howard was because he'd never see it coming from Kanan, similar to what Kanan said to Tariq in Power. And the same could be said about how Rock would never see it coming from her own son. And this, along with Raquel's lies, manipulation, is the reason why I think Kanan is her thumbscrew. Because if we've learned one thing from the 48 Laws of Power over this past year, it's every single leader has a weakness. But overall, I think we're going to see a much darker Kanan who's in the game. We're going to see him in fights and having to protect himself, because you can never be comfortable in this situation, especially as a teenager. And if he does choose the game, which we all know he will, there are no nights off. Now, one person who's going to be a big influence on Kanan's life is Breeze. But the more we get closer to season 2, the more I doubt Breeze is actually going to be introduced this season, because I go back to the transformation I mentioned with Franklin Sane. There really is no reason to rush this story, especially because Kanan is only 15. Eventually I do see Breeze, a young ghost, and Tommy being introduced, but I think season 2 maybe just be one season too soon. Now, the other 3 relationships to watch is Lulu, Davina, and Famous. Now, when it comes to Lou, something we never saw in season 1 was interaction between Kanan and Lou, which wasn't done by accident. We saw more from Marvin and Kanan, so I do wonder if we're going to see more interaction between them in season 2, especially because Kanan dressed very similar to Uncle Lou in Power. But with Davina, she left Queens after her mom died, but Kanan made it pretty clear he's never getting over her, and we saw how love-struck he was. So Davina and Kanan is definitely not a finished story, and it's definitely another harsh lesson which may be coming Kanan's way, which is the death of Davina. Now, with Famous, this is the season where I think we're gonna see him in the game, but there was a scene where Kanan said this.
Famous ain't built for this shit anyway. This is the shit D-Wiz was always down for.
No doubt.
He's not built for the streets, but D-Wiz was, and he wasn't wrong. But we are going to see Famous in the game and being caught up with Kanan, and I don't think the consequences will stop there. Famous made a point of Lou not fucking with Jessica because she's not built for the streets, so I do think at some point Jessica's death will be something that hits Famous and pushes him down a dark path. And on his relationship with Jukebox, we saw how close they were in season 1, and we do get the same vibes from the trailer, so it really does make us ask the question, did Kanan kill Duke just to save Tariq, or is there more to the story? Let's wait and see. But that's a breakdown of Kanan's character and questions we need answering going into season 2. So drop all your thoughts down below on this broken relationship with Rock, which will no doubt get even worse. And will Kanan learn the truth? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.